Of course, New Orleans has always had a strong association with food, from its down-home Creole cuisine to some of the nation's finest four-star restaurants. But most of us never stop to think that no matter how delicious the dish, all that food had to come from somewhere, right? For some insight on that, we now turn to Neil Melancon and the subject of this week's Bottom Line.
The Bottom Line is brought to you by the Cotton Board, strengthening the fiber of our industry. First South Farm Credit, financing rural America since 1933. And by Progressive Tractor and Implement, your Case IH and Kubota dealer.
When I think about the most iconic meals of New Orleans, the one that comes to mind most starts with breakfast. Chicory coffee and beignets like the kind you can get right there at Cafe Du Monde just down the river from me here. Of course, our powdered confections come from our French heritage here in Louisiana, but the coffee is inextricably tied to the river and its port. New Orleans was the main port of entry for almost all coffee coming in from South America. While other ports and coffee from other lands now share the load, it left a legacy of strong coffee from the abundance of beans left over. So it goes with almost every other commodity. Steamships once loaded almost every stitch of cotton bound for foreign ports here. The grains that have taken its place from almost every Midwestern state flow through here as the river drains 2/3 of the continental U.S. That's why seasonal floods, the price of gas, and river infrastructure are almost always in the news. They are the key to so much of our agriculture economy that without this port, the dynamics of feeding the world would be vastly more expensive at best. The bottom line is New Orleans draws so much from the surrounding area. Beef, citrus, vegetables, and of course seafood are all within an hour's drive of the city. However, Mike, it's the goods that flow up and down this river every day that make what we have here in Louisiana and the world possible.
I guess that's why they call it the mighty Mississippi, Neil. Neil Melancon, thanks. And remember, you can listen to any of Neil's daily radio reports on the Louisiana Farm Bureau Agri-News Radio Network. For a list of stations where you can tune in or listen online, click on over to our website, twilatv.org, and look for the LF Barn link on the home page. That does it for this special edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Before we leave you, we'd like to thank Arthur Smith with the Louisiana State Museum and Cammie Geisman with Lieutenant Governor Jay Darden's office for allowing us to show you the Presbytere. If you ever find yourself in Jackson Square, take some time to visit the Presbytere and the Cabildo. Both exhibits offer some history you simply won't find anyplace else. Join us next week when Avery Davison will show us how Louis Dreyfus Commodities is helping young people learn more about agriculture. Until then, you can watch any of our stories on our website. You know the address, twilatv.org. For all of us here at This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Michael Dana. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope to see you again right here next week.